Hello everyone and welcome back. I am Duke Silver and today we are playing more Brotato. Now the class we're going to be showing off for this Danger 5 run is going to be the Mage. So the Mage is an elemental damage character. You start with plus 5 elemental damage. Elemental damage modifications are increased by 33%. You start with 1 snake, which is when you set something on fire, one other thing gets set on fire as well. You start with 1 scared sausage, which gives you 25% chance to set something on fire every time you hit it with an attack. Yeah, we're going to be starting with the taser. The taser is a very good support weapon. It's going to slow down enemies and deal it scales with elemental damage. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to choose Danger 5, and here we go. So yeah, the taser is a pretty decent weapon to start. Doesn't do a lot of damage, and like it doesn't have like a big area of effect, so you do want to complement it with something later on, but it does slow enemies down, which makes it again a great support weapon. So we're gonna add a wand immediately just to kind of increase our damage, and we're gonna lock that scared sausage until wave 4 when we're not guaranteed 2 weapons in our shop anymore. And yeah, the taser's again basically gonna help us like control the crowd, and our wand is gonna be our like main source of damage. We will want to replace like the wand later with say like a flamethrower or something with a little bit more power. All right, we get to lock another taser there. And again, yeah, we're just gonna keep the scared sausage or sacred sausage, one of those two. We're gonna keep it locked until the next shop when we're not guaranteed our 2 weapons anymore. Yeah, you can see our wave clear is relatively decent. It's not great. We're better against single target enemies at the moment. I mean, of course, we don't have like the full suite of weapons yet. Take quite a few rolls there on our level up. A little bit unfortunate to spend that much gold. But yeah, we got our scared sausage now. And scared sausage, we start with 1 because we're the mage. So now we have 2 instances of 25% chance to set things on fire. It might just stack up to 50% because there is a limit of 4. So I'm not sure if it just goes up to 100%. I know from before I was saying I didn't know how the Hunter's Trophy worked, where it was 33% chance to get a material when you kill an enemy with a critical hit, and I was informed that it's just separate instances of 33% chance. So I assume that it works the same for everything else, but the fact that there's a limit of 4 scared sausages makes me think that it just stacks from 25 to 50 to 75 to 100. And you can see again our clear is decent, but most of our damage comes from like elemental, so we need to be able to stay alive while the fire kind of does its work. Invest in a little bit of luck there. Again, we want to find flamethrowers later, so having luck increases the chance of finding flamethrowers earlier, as they don't show up as common items. So you can only get them at I believe level 2 or higher. Yeah, you can see our damage starting to fall off a little bit as more and more enemies show up in these waves. Again, we do a decent job of controlling the crowd just with the tasers because we're slowing everything down, which allows us to kind of maneuver out of the way. We get a 3rd scared sausage there, so that's fantastic. 75% chance or 3 25% instances to set things on fire. And the burning damage does scale with the elemental stat, so that increases the damage of each tick of fire. Get a crate there out of that tree, which is nice. Not able to stop that large enemy from spawning, but we do take it down relatively easily. Alright, yeah, we're having a harder time controlling the crowd now that the waves are getting more difficult. Wave 7 is the first one that the eggs and those large aliens start showing up. Next wave will be large enemies spawning. So that should be a test for our damage. And you can see, as long as we can isolate them, we can take down these big enemies relatively easily. Like our elemental damage is progressing at a decent rate. The large armored enemies go down relatively fast, but they are definitely a bit more of a threat. You can see the fire damage though, again, doing great work there. You see how it only took a few ticks and they go down. Take some range, and we get a level 4 wand already, which is fantastic. I was tempted to just take another wand there, but decided against it. Again, we do want to replace it with something better a little later. We definitely don't want to be stuck with too many tasers and only one wand by the end. And our snake is going to do some real work in this one. Like we're not hitting a ton of enemies all at once, but every time snake says every time you set something on fire or apply burning damage, it applies something applies the same debuff or damage buff or whatever you want to call it to one other enemy. So basically every time we hit something, it's setting 2 enemies on fire. And with such a high volume of enemies, that's going to be a real benefit for us. Eye surgery is another good important piece for this whole burning situation. So basically it says your burning effects activate faster, which just means that the damage ticks happen a little bit quicker. So it increases the damage of the burning overall. Allows it to take effect faster, and yeah, that's definitely a big benefit. Wave 10 now. I feel like our clear is decent. We do need to find Flamethrower relatively quickly for us to really start to do things. But the fact that we're able to kind of maneuver into the middle of the map, at least we were mostly able to there, means we're doing relatively well. Take a little bit of survivability there. We take Bandana, which is going to add, I believe it adds piercing to our projectiles. So I'm not entirely sure if that does anything. Also, we did add a flamethrower there. Kind of went pretty quick there, but yeah, now we do have a flamethrower, which is going to be dealing. It applies its own burning debuff, and there's different kinds of burning debuffs. Like some wand and scared sausage apply different ones. You can only have one applied, but it does apply the strongest one you have available, basically, because they do scale differently and have like different base damages. Unfortunately, like we did have a decent damage. If we'd been able to focus down the elite, we would have been able to take it out, but unfortunately the crowd got a little bit out of control, so we had to go into survival mode there and stop focusing on the elite. A little unfortunate that we miss out on a red crate. Alright, and you can see that we're taking down these mummy enemies relatively fast, and they have a lot of health and armor, so that's always a good sign for us. You can see just how much damage this flamethrower is doing. It's doing a really good job of clearing out these smaller enemies. And you can see a crate in the top left there. You can see that I'm not moving to get it because they do get collected at the end of the wave. Alright, I'll take a little bit more luck. Again, try and find some more of these flamethrowers. We'll take a schmoop there. It's a decent defensive item. All we lose is a little bit of melee and range damage, which we don't care about at all. There's a level 3 taser, which we're going to lock. That's going to be a great pickup for us. Still just the one flamethrower. Again, we would very much like to add a couple more. I still want to end up with some tasers in addition to the flamethrowers, because again, the tasers slow everything down, and the flamethrowers kind of deal the damage, which just makes for a nice little 1-2 punch. Again, our damage is decent, but the larger enemies become a little bit difficult to deal with, as we have to wait for the burning damage to really take them down. So we have 3 level 3 tasers now, and there's another taser. We're going to combine our level 3s into a level 4 taser and get our second flamethrower. So that's going to be a big power spike for us. Yeah, you can see all the fire just shooting all around, clearing these small enemies like they're basically nothing. Just cutting absolute swaths through them, and this is a horde wave, I believe, so that's why there's so many enemies spawning here. Generally, you get like there's like three more difficult waves. You get either 3 elites or some combination of horde and elite waves between levels 11 and 19. I don't know that I've seen one on 19, but I know it goes all the way up to 18, so maybe it's 11 and 18. But yeah, we're gonna have an elite on 18, and wave 18 is kind of an infamous wave. It has a bunch of armored charging enemies, and the armored enemies aren't affected by knockback, so that's why that wave is particularly difficult, because a lot of them spawn and then immediately charge across the map at you, and it's hard to keep them off of you if you don't have good enough damage. So adding an elite to that mix is generally makes it pretty challenging. But again, I think we're feeling very strong here. We should be able to deal with that. We should have the coverage with these flamethrowers to take out the small enemies, and be able to just either avoid the elite or potentially focus some damage onto it while still clearing everything out around us. Take a little bit more armor there. Always a good idea to take survivability. We take a triangle of power. I believe that's our second one. So that's going to increase our damage by 20%, 20 percentage damage, which generally if you're doing small amount of damage, like with these fire ticks, I think our elemental damage is at a point where percentage damage does affect it, but generally if you're doing small amounts of damage, percentage damage doesn't do a ton. But again, I think we've scaled our elemental damage up to a point where percentage damage is going to be effective. So the only thing is with the triangle of power is every time you get hit, you lose 2% of your damage. So if you get hit 10 times, you lose your damage bonus. And the fact that we have 2 triangle of powers means every time we get hit, we're going to lose 4% damage. But we are up 40% initially. But again, our wave clear is so good that we're not even getting hit here. We're just clearing enemies out before they can even get to us. So you can see why Triangle of Power is a fine pickup for us. Wolf Helmet's great, gonna give us some elemental damage as well as a chunk of luck. Luck becomes less valuable as we get to the end of the game here, though, as we only have so many shops left to see. And yeah, even these larger armored enemies are going down relatively quick now, so definitely like where we're at damage-wise. Feeling very powerful. We don't quite have freedom of movement throughout the stage. Like we leave just over 100 materials there on the ground. A little bit unfortunate, but there's another wolf helmet, which is another chunk of elemental damage and luck, but I don't know that we're going to take it. I think I definitely want this flamethrower. We do end up taking the second helmet, and we're going to lock the flamethrower here. Alright, here's the wave 18. We've got this charging armored enemies, and we've got an elite. Fortunately, it's the easier elite. Again, this one the movement is relatively predictable, so as long as you can keep everything else at bay. Like, it's pretty easy to dodge this elite's attacks. Although it is pretty aggressive and does chase you around the stage. But we do a decent job of dodging these projectiles. We have taken a few hits, which is lowering our damage. But it doesn't lower it enough, and we do manage to take out the elite, which is fantastic. That's going to give us a red crate, which is a tier 4 or legendary item. It's not this item. That's from a regular crate. We do recycle the turret we got in the legendary crate, but or red crate. I'm not entirely sure the terminology that's correct there. Get a potato, which is just a big infusion of positive stats with no drawback. So that's always nice to pick up, basically on whatever hero you are, or whatever potato you are, I should say. Alright, we're on wave 19 now, the penultimate wave. So this is obviously a pretty challenging wave. You kind of have to deal with everything you've faced so far in a bit of a horde. We're kind of hemmed in the corner here, but not too badly. We are able to fight our way out, so feeling pretty strong here. Flamethrowers really doing work. Just clearing enemies out, doing what they do. And yeah, basically handle that wave without incident. Take a little bit of armor there. How about a little bit more armor? We take the power generator, which is going to give us percentage damage based on our speed. And we've got some extra speed, so it's a pretty decent investment, I'd say. And we took a campfire there, which does lower our speed, which makes our power generator a little bit less potent. But it is going to increase our regen and elemental damage, and probably increases our damage overall. Again, we do have to juggle 2 bosses here, of course, as it is Danger 5, so a bit challenging to weave in and out of these projectiles, especially when we're trying really hard not to get hit with our double triangle of power. All right, we get the one elite down low enough to start just shooting circles around us, which generally makes it a little bit easier to deal with, just because you just have to stand in one spot. Although that means the rest of the enemies do become a bigger threat. We do take out one boss, which leaves us with just the other boss shooting circles, and that one goes down very soon after the first one. So there we have it. Danger 5 cleared with the Mage. This is a really fun class. Obviously, I mean, I think flamethrowers are just a super fun weapon. I definitely would have picked up more if I could have, and yeah, just spray and fire all over the map and taking out enemies is a lot of fun. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel, and I really appreciate it. I've been doing some just like unlocking challenges over on Twitch. You can find my Twitch in the description and in the pinned comment. I would appreciate it if you would follow me over there if you feel like catching these games live and interacting and talking about the game or whatever. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow.